Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla. All right, y'all. So I took down the Waitings to Exhale. I think that's probably what was doing it the entire time. And also, please be on the lookout for trolls. Don't let anybody come in here spamming the chat because that will get the stream taken down as well. I don't know what's going on or why, but this is take three, y'all. Why they keep pulling this stream down. I'm not violating anything, but hey, it is what it is. So let's try it one more time. All right. So this stream, once again, I have to go into the spiel because it is recorded. I do apologize for being repetitious, guys. But it's entitled Save Yourselves, Black Women. Okay. You can't sit around and wait for Prince Charming to rescue you, like some of these men are telling you to do, and some of these pick mishas are telling you to do. You can't do that. It is not conducive to what the society that we live in now. That's not what we have going on here. Now I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're trying to silence me because of the two people that I'm referencing. But let's just say KS and JB. Okay. I was over there listening to The Business, and I did actually go on towards the end. I didn't get a chance to get my whole spiel out because he's going to talk over you, and he's going to do his little showbiz thing to try to disarm you. And then if he's not successful, he'll just hang up, and that's exactly what happened. But the show was basically about him trying to convince Black women, young Black women in particular, once again, that their education is not important. He's no different than Kevin Samuels, who he claims he's different than, but they're just one and the same. There's no difference. Kevin Samuels says the same thing. He says the modern day women, they think their PhDs are going to get them a husband and that is all important. And I'm a PhD and all that type of stupid sound effects. And so if you're between the ages of 20 to 29, they want you to listen to them and not your professor, not your teachers, all the teachers that told you that it's best that you go and get your education. They don't want you to listen to them. They don't want you to listen to your mama and your daddy who's paying for you to go to college. They don't want you to listen to them. These are the older men of the generation. And this is the reason why I am warning you. I'm issuing a SOS warning, especially to the young women between the ages of 18 and 29. You got to watch some of these old men. You got to watch them. Everybody that presents a stat to you does not have the correct interpretation of that stat. Learn how to crunch these numbers yourself, people. Stop depending on these content creators who have agendas to break these numbers down. And don't be afraid to question everything, because you got a lot of false prophets out here leading their viewers astray. And see what they really want. They'll tell you in a heartbeat that women in their 30s to 40 are done. And the reason that they do that is not because you're not able to reproduce. Women are having children well up into their late 40s and early 50s now. So it's not reproduction, especially not for Black women. We are very fertile. So it's not reproduction. They want that inexperience. Because you see, if you're 18 to 24, you don't have a lot of life experiences. Now they claim that you don't have a lot of baggage. But in order not to have a lot of baggage, you have to also not have a lot of experience, right? And so this is something that an old dude can take good advantage of, because these younger guys, they don't have as much experience as you got, so they're not taking advantage of your inexperience like these old men are. And I will submit to you today that the younger men need to also watch out for some of these old ass Negroes, because they don't respect you either. They will sit up here and tell you, oh, you're still a little wet behind the ears, boy. You just go on ahead and focus on your purpose in life. You can't do nothing with that young filly over there. You can't do nothing with her. You can't provide for her. You just go on ahead, young man, and you focus on building yourself up, and I'll take that there right off your hands, okay? Yeah, in about 10 or 15 years, there'll be a young filly waiting for you. Let me go ahead and get that. See, what these old men are not telling the younger men is that they have run through all the women of their generation to the point that the women of their generation know their game, and they're not taking their BS anymore. So now they got to find somebody new to run that shit on. Thank you very much, K Judah Show, for the 1999 super sticker. This is what they're not telling you, young men. So they done tainted up their dating pool. The women, they got their number. So now they need some fresh meat. And they don't care if they're taking it away from you. So what they'll do is they'll tell you, oh, you just focus on yourself. Don't worry about that right there. As a matter of fact, go get your passports. The old Negroes tell the young men, go get your passports. Get the hell out of here. Let me go and get access to all this young stuff that's around here. Because, I'm getting too old to be going to Fantasy Island, Pedophile Island. I mean, Fantasy Island. I'm getting too old. So you get the hell out of here. Get your passport. Gone. Get. So now the young men are being led astray as well. And you guys tell me if you still hear me. Because I'll be the last to know if they cut the string. So they tell these young men that they love them, that they care about them, and that they only have their best interests at heart. But notice how they speak to young men every time they call into their shows. They're very condescending and disrespectful. And they always tell the young men they got to wait for theirs. Meanwhile, while you're getting your stuff together, because you can't date and be with these young fillies while you get your stuff together. So while you're getting your stuff together, we're going to hold down the fort, us old 50-year-old men, because the women in our dating pool, they won't have anything to do with us, because they knew us from way back in the day when we were dusty and crusty. And now that we're older, we're still dusty and crusty. We just might have a little bit more money. And since we got a little bit more money than you, because you're just starting out, we're going to stunt on you young men. They're going to stunt on you. The old men sit up and stunt on the younger men. And they do it right in your face. And the young men don't know the difference between being disrespected and somebody trying to teach them something. You're just as naive as these women. And that's what a lot of these old guys are banking on. You got to watch some of these old ass Negroes. Got to watch them. So meanwhile, when they push you on out the way, when they got you sent off, you got to go get you a doll to play with while they playing with the women in your generation. They're trickling over there to these young fillies that they telling you to pay no never man, that they not worth protecting, they not worth your time, they not worth this, they not worth that. These same old men are scooping them up while you got your back turned, while you on the plane with your passport going to Brazil or whatever third world country. This is what they're doing. What's up, life of a grandmaster troll in the house? What's up, brother? Ladies, you got to stop listening to these so-called males. These men have gotten to the point where they're even telling you that you can't get advice from older women. You want to know why they're telling you you can't get advice from older women? They'll sit up here and they'll go through every excuse in the book. Oh, these old women, they are bitter. They're bitter because they're old and they don't have nobody. And they can't tell you how to get a man like I, a man, can tell you how to get a man. Look at their track record with men. And so they reel you in with this rhetoric. Exactly, Diamond and Pearl, divide and conquer. Because, see, these old ass Negroes that both the young generation of women and the young generation of men need to watch out for don't have none of y'all best interests at heart. They're all out for themselves. That's the reason why Papa was a Rolling Stone when you were a baby. And a lot of you black males were growing up in the household without daddies, because a lot of these old ass Negroes was only looking out for their own best interests. So a lot of you guys are sitting up here looking up to your internet daddy. The reason why you got to look up to a daddy on the internet is because yours wasn't there. And these old ass Negroes not going to point that out to you. They're going to tell you it's your mama fault because she divorced him, or she left him, or she kept him away, or she didn't choose right. It's never your old daddy's fault for not sticking around. Notice that. She sure didn't have to do much convincing for him to be his ass out, right? And so now a lot of you are scrambling to find some kind of semblance of guidance from these old gigolos online. What's up, Jerome Whiteside in the house? And Jerome has a really good channel as well, guys. Please do go check him out. Hell, I need to get some of his subscribers. What's up, Jay? The reason I came on here is because when I was over there listening to Jason Black's stream, and I noticed that him and Mr. KS, Kevin Samuels, they stream around the same time. He does the business. Kevin Samuels does whatever the hell he does over there. And they're both saying the exact same thing. Young men, y'all ain't ready yet. Let us old men come in here and get these young fillies. And young women, let me tell you something about your little PhD. It don't mean nada. It don't mean nada. We don't care about your little education. As a matter of fact, we like you dumb. The less education, the better. The only thing you need to know is which way I want you when it's come time for us to have relations. That's the only thing you need to know. Even if you got a 5th grade education, that's all you need to know. But then they'll turn around and contradict themselves and tell you that you don't know nothing about finances. They'll contradict themselves and tell you that you don't know nothing about numbers and that you're afraid of crunching numbers. They contradict themselves at every turn whilst they are deceiving you. And you know, these people that follow these guys have got to either really be dumb or they must be blind. Because even Ray Charles can see the contradiction. The Black Audacity says they don't tell the young women that their hardware penis don't work like it used to when they hit 45 plus. Oh, sis, she hit the nail on the head. No, they don't. No, they don't. See, they too busy telling us that we're fat and we're out of shape if we're bigger than a size 6. But they don't tell you that they got drug problems. That all that weed they smoking, it don't really work for the penis that good, like they be trying to tell you it do. They don't tell you that smoking all them cigarettes is not good for their body. And all that drinking they like to do. See, men don't think that they can get ran through. They don't think that they can wear their bodies down. Black men especially, they think that weed is the best drug and cure all for everything. Black men are about their weed like black women are about their Robitussin. And you know how black women used to be back in the day about Robitussin. If you lost a leg, she would go run into the medicine cabinet and get Robitussin. Black men, if he lost an arm, he would go run to the nearest weed dealer and get him a blunt. They think that this is medicine. Keeps their mind rejuvenated. Keeps their stuff rock hard, they say. Dita Rail says they have a YouTube education. Now they're an expert. Commendable Case says these YouTube cults attract a lot of weak-minded people who are looking for excuses and places to point fingers. Exactly. Queen Mercy. Yeah, ginger ale too. Oh yeah, ginger ale's a cure all for everything. Drink you a little ginger ale. Yeah, that'll ward off that HIV. Yeah, get you some ginger ale. All these black home remedies. Yeah, black men, you can run your bodies down too. You sit up here and you talk about how women can run their bodies down. Yeah, you can run yours down by drinking, smoking, not exercising. It's very possible. So when you guys get to be this old and you need all these platitudes of help to help you get it up and stay rock hard, need a nice young body to help you, to assist you with that. But you can't really attract them with your look, so you got to go into these poor neighborhoods. And I'm going to tell you, black men, y'all don't really need to get your passport when there's plenty of poor ghettos all over the place. The women in these poor ghettos, well, they're about as bad as these women in third world countries. They're just as desperate. You really ain't got to go to no third world country. Matter of fact, if you a black man and you want a white woman, well, there's plenty of white women in California on Skid Row. You just drive on through there like you would do if you go to Brazil, and you get yourself a dirty foot homeless woman on Skid Row, clean her up, and bam, there you go. She'll listen to you. You'll have yourself a real good, what they call it, coachable woman in that homeless chick that you pick up on Skid Row. Queen Mercy said faith don't encourage him. I'm telling the truth though. These guys don't want women that can take care of themselves, that are capable of living independent of them, and that's their fear. If you have an education and if you have a good paying job, you can live independent of them, and that is their biggest fear. And so this is what a lot of these male content creators are not telling you. Now, back in the olden days, and I'm not talking about your mama, because your mama might be a Generation Xer. I'm not talking about your grandma, because your grandma might be a baby boomer. But I'm talking about that silent generation before the boomers. The women of the silent generation, aka the color purple era, they didn't have much of a choice. There wasn't a whole lot of laws back then that favored women in divorces. So when a woman married a man, it was to her best interest to stay with her, because there were no opportunities where she could function alone. We're talking about the 1950s. Fast forward to 2020, 2021. Women have plenty of opportunities now. You don't have to stay in a dysfunctional relationship with a man and be his female child slash whore, because this is what these guys are looking for. They're looking for a woman that is their child slash whore at the end of the day, because they throw around that word coachable. She has to be coachable. She has to listen. You have to be able to teach her something. You got to be able to tell her what to do. Coachable. They're obsessed with that word coachable. Pay attention. Kevin Samuels, the Jason Blacks, all these old ass Negroes that you need to watch out for. Exactly, feminine logic. Feminine logic says coachable equals controllable. Exactly. And this is what they're looking for. Diamond and Pearl says mindless. So when they throw out that word coachable, that is the dog whistle for I want to control you. And then they try to make you dumb. They try to make it seem like you're dumb. Because women, you little women's with your little pea brains, y'all can't think for yourselves. You need a man to think for you. You all can't count. Y'all don't know nothing about finances. How many times have y'all heard them say this? Y'all little women folks don't know how to manage your own money. You need a man to guide you into that. To guide you on how to save your money. To guide you. Exactly. Feminine logic again. She says they want a blank sheet of paper. Let me program you the way I want. Exactly. They want somebody that they can groom, like any predator. Now, notice that they never ever encourage women to first be able to take care of themselves. They always want you fresh off your mama and daddy's porch. So now, if they get you fresh off your mama and daddy's porch, well, you ain't got no life experience. You ain't even got no work experience. You ain't even had a chance to get an education, right? If you're fresh off the porch. And that's exactly the way they want it. So they get you fresh off your mom and daddy's porch and into their house and under their control. And you don't have no way or means of ever taking care of yourself. You can never stand up for yourself in that man's household. This is the position that you would be putting yourself in. And you would always have to ask him for your everything. And he will treat you as a child. If you don't do as he says, he will withhold money from you. He will withhold all types of things and threaten you with being put out on the street if you don't comply. This is what they're not telling you. They're giving you the fantasy that all you got to do is just be this nice, coachable, agreeable, fit, feminine, and friendly woman. And they're just going to be the best husbands ever. They're lying. Go back and look at your great great grandmother's generation, and you can see the lies. They like to point to that generation because those women were subjected by the system primarily, because there were no laws in effect that protected women, and there were very few programs that supported them either. So during that time, women had no choice but to stay married to their funky ass husbands. There was no other options. They had very little options back then. So now they're telling you, in a time where you have all the options in the world, not to exercise your options, is basically what they're telling you. They're begging you not to go to school and get your education. They're calling you a female bum if you have a student loan debt. I was actually on Jason Black's program and I was trying to point out to him because he tried to make it seem as if a black woman that didn't graduate from high school was better off than a black woman with a bachelor's degree. He actually tried to pull it. And he hung up on me before I could point out the error in his logic. Now, I'm going to share my screen because there's something I want to show you. And this is a chart similar to what he was showing. But this chart actually breaks down the numbers so that people can see the actual numbers, because the one that he had, it just showed a pie chart. And see, with pie charts, I don't like that because it doesn't break down the dollar figure. So you have to rely heavily on the person presenting the information to give you all the facts. And that's the reason why before he hung up on me, I told him he was misleading his audience. And here's why. Let me go ahead and share. We gonna get an education today on why we can't trust them. Oh yeah, we gonna get this education today. And also we gonna get this education today on why women can actually read the stats. So I'm over here on this website, and this is by Lean In, and the title is Black Women Aren't Paid Fairly, and That Hits Harder in Economic Crisis. So the stats, like I told him on his show, the stats are correct, but your interpretation is flawed, is what I told him. So here's the pay gap by gender and race. So you got white men, they make $1 more than everybody. White women make 79 cents to the white man's dollar. And black women make 63 cents to the white woman's 79 cents and to the white man's dollar. So we make less than everybody, even though we are the most educated. This is true. I've said that many times here. But let's go to this graph, because see, this is what we got to get to the nitty gritty of, because see, it was the pay gap by education level, and it compares black women, white women, and white men. And y'all let me know if you're seeing this okay. But you look at these numbers, okay? Now, going down here to the bottom of the chart, it says with less than a high school diploma, high school, bachelor's degree, and advanced degree, right? It's the same chart that he was looking at, but the difference between my chart and his chart is what? You actually see a figure. You see a dollar number here. You see numbers that you can actually look at for yourself and make a determination of who's doing better and who isn't doing better. Now, remember earlier, I told you I called into his show and I had an issue with him saying that a black woman with less than a high school diploma is doing better financially than a black woman with a bachelor's degree. And if you look at this chart right here and you look at these numbers, the black woman with less than a high school diploma is making $522. And this is weekly wages. Whereas the black woman with the bachelor's degree is making $1,000. Now, between these two figures, which woman is doing better? The uneducated black woman or the educated black woman? And he tried to say that if the educated black woman has all these so-called alleged student loans, and let's just talk about that for a minute, because he tried to make it seem like she's making 100 to 120,000 a year, and she has 80,000 in student loans. If I'm making 120,000 a year and I have 80,000 in student loans, does that mean that I have to pay the whole 120,000 in a year towards that student loan? No. Usually you get on a payment plan. You're probably only going to pay 15,000 of that 120,000 per year to that student loan. So you're still in a six-figure bracket. So even with the college woman paying back her student loans, she's still making more money than the black woman that has less than a high school education. She's even doing better than the black woman that has a high school education. But he tried to pull the wool over his viewers' eyes tonight to say that the black woman's degree meant nothing as far as the amount of money that she's making to take care of herself. And therefore, the woman that has less than a college degree is better than her with a degree. And that is a lie. This is the lie that I wanted to point out that a lot of these guys are making. They're making it seem like you have to be with a man in order to survive in 2021. That is a lie. You do not have to be with a man to survive in 2021. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and get back to you guys. But Bro Speak says, was he calculating the debt? Yeah, that's the reason why I broke it down. If you're making 120,000 a year and you have 80,000 in student loan debt, you don't pay the $80,000 off all at once. Usually about $15,000 of that per year is going towards that student loan debt. So you're still at six figures, even with paying off the student loan debt. Even with paying off student loan debt, a black woman with a college degree is doing way better than if she didn't get a degree. Way better. But these fast talking, sly, how can I say? they're swindlers. They're swindlers. They'll come in talking fast and they'll insult people that pretty much go against anything that they say. They'll insult you. They'll start talking fast. They'll ask you what your dress size is, if you're married, like any of that matters to the point that you were trying to make, which is you're lying to your people. The people that support you, you're lying to them. Your favorite persuasion says, according to Kevin Samuels, women need $1 million to retire unmarried and single. That's a lie. Like I said, they're thinking like way back during the Color Purple time when women didn't really have a lot of resources. But now there's so many resources, even for the elderly. My mother's elderly. She does not have $1 million in savings, and she just recently left my father. You want to know what my mother's doing right now? She is in a lovely facility where I forget what they call it. It's an elderly community. It's not assisted living or a nursing home. It's not that. It's an elderly community, but it's lovely and it's subsidized. They go according to your income there. It's subsidized. So she's not hurting for anything because there are resources out here helping her. See, what a lot of people don't bank on is that these people have access to resources. Right. She's living in a senior community. There are plenty of resources today. It's not like it was 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 years ago. But if you listen to these men talk, they will make it seem as if it is. The same way with single mothers. When these women have these children out of wedlock, they're not homeless. You want to know why? Because there are resources now where they can get Section 8, they can get food via the food stamp program, they can get access to free child care through via the child care initiative program in their state, free access to child care because of their low income. They can go to school for little or nothing too because they're low income and they have children. Did you know that they give more grants to single mothers than anybody? So while they're sitting up here talking about student loan debt, I personally didn't really have to take out that many loans. Majority of my school was paid for via grants because I had children. I took out loans because I wanted extra money to get a car or something. No, my mother is an independent person. He says, shame on me to put my mother in a retirement home. She's not in a retirement home. She's in a senior community. It's a difference. And she wanted to go there. She's very independent, like me. That's where I get my independent mindset from, my mother. I wouldn't want to live with anyone either when I get old, to be honest with you. I'm used to being by myself. And if I can help it, I will die by myself. Because, contrary to what Kevin Samuels believes, some of us don't mind being alone. I don't want to live with nobody. I don't want to be under nobody's thumb. And that's how my mom is. But a lot of you men don't think about that because you think that all women are parasitical by nature. And not all of us are. Some of us are independent and loving it. But it's been about 45 minutes. I think I've gone on my little rant tirade, if you will, long enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the link down here into the chat. And anybody that wants to come up, if you want to add, if you disagree, if you want to fight, be prepared to hit the link. We can have this conversation all night long. I got time. Today, I got time, y'all. I got time. And see, unlike Jason Black, I'm not going to talk over you. I'm not going to hang up on you. I'm not going to bull jive and call you out your name and ask you what your dress size is or ask you what your penis size is like Kevin Samuels do. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to let you get it off. So if you agree or disagree, you can come on up and hit the link. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and pin this here. You can come on up and hit the link. All right. So the StreamYard link is at the top of the page. What's up, Rude M? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to hit the link. All right. What's up? Chaos Rain in the house.
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
What happened to earlier? What they flag her or something? What happened?
I don't know. There was a lot of people posting a bunch of I guess spam in the chat, and that could get your channel shut down real fast. And then also I had a
Really?
different I had a different
That's new.
background.
That's new because normally you play a video that will cause a stop, but spamming, I just don't see that because most people put shit on YouTube every day, and sometimes it's evaluate through the community tab. Sometimes they suppress certain words coming out in the chat room, especially for people that are living alternate lifestyles, homosexual lifestyles. If you say certain things, they will block the word automatically. So if they were
Well,
saying
I mean,
something,
I've used these same words before. I don't know why they kept taking it down, or people could have been flagging. I don't know. But
I mean, I'm trying to see
what
the
did you
time.
want to what did you want to actually say about the actual topic at hand? I didn't want to.
I only got a chance to listen to some of it. I think one thing that catches the attention is the pay gap. How I look at this is not going to even bring the playing even feel with the pay gap between men and women, especially women in the workforce, especially if we are employed. Now we can go by who's more employed than some other gender, but right there, if you're making 60 cents, and I'm not sure how much the black man's making, and if he's working the same employment, that tells you it's kind of beneficial that they will use minorities, which black people, we're part of this country regardless, but they want to use that label, that they want the same outcomes for less. Do you follow me? So
Okay.
they're gonna pay you less than what is considered quote unquote work. Now, some people say if I work in certain fields like tech and also my pay is different. Yeah, but also you being underpaid as well because certain corporations they only gonna give you so much money a year. And the way how things are shifting right now, which I can't go into now, because I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen, that they're gonna really start being tight with the money for a lot of people that works for them. You get me? They're gonna be very tight now. So if you think that the pay is weak now, you haven't seen nothing coming in 2022. Right now. And I can't really go into it right now. I gotta sit back and see what's gonna happen. But my thing is that these are things that our people gotta be proactive and say you're gonna have to hustle and get your money some other ways besides the so-called 9 to 5 on the average.
But see, here's the thing though. I wonder how come instead of telling black women that their education is not important,
Mm-hmm.
or why don't they and that they're racking up all the student loan debt?
Yes.
Why don't people tell black women how to go to school without racking up student loan debt? Because it just seems to me as if instead of telling a person not to get their education at all, let's tell them a better way to get their education.
Well,
Because primarily if you're low income, and especially since they like to say we all baby mamas, you don't necessarily have to pay for school by racking up student loan debts. You can go to a community college first and pay for that with grants and then transfer that over to a larger college. And you can get that paid for as well with grants and scholarships. How come we don't just think about strategy?
my thing I'd ask you, say, is why more of our people, since we're talking about women, are not going the cheaper route and eventually decide if they want to go and finish on a 4 year, the rest of the degrees on a more expensive university or a university that's more cost efficient, in other words, because the student loan debt, you can't expunge that, period. So if people have to go through what we call education school, then they're going to have to reevaluate saying what are your real long-term plans if you're going to take the education route, and you can't get no frivolous degree either, because if you're trying to get a certain income, you always got to keep in mind that saying that they will hire most women because, like I said, you make 6% out the daughter. So, do you really want to be paid less than your worth, as especially when you get more experience? Because they're gonna pay you less, and usually, if you reach a certain level, they will probably let you go. So, it's always strategize what you're gonna do. What's the next move? And I tell people many times, if most women are going into school and they're getting educated, like we want to use this word, then there has to be an end goal to it. We can't just sit there, go into it, get debt, and then complain about why I'm receiving. We're not talking relationship, we're talking about education right now. Why I'm still getting less than my worth, and it's simple because you're not really taking the real advantage of how you're gonna make your money effectively, especially if you're gonna work for somebody. There should be an end goal to everything you do as a woman. You get me? It should not be a say, I'm just going to get this, get a job, stay comfortable. And no, you're going to have to think long term. You get me? Because this is a game here that they're playing with a lot of our people, especially when we deal with the women. So the best move now is say, what other plans I could do so I don't have to put myself in a more deeper hole or get into the traps of the system. I hope I'm making sense, Faith, because I sometimes can go around the place. I'm trying to be clear as possible.
Well, yeah, I mean, you make a lot of sense. You make perfectly good sense.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is this: there's a lot of these people out here, and I'm also going to talk about the divestors too, because there are a lot of women who are running these divestment channels. And there are a lot of women that are not divestors. They're kind of like on the fence, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about women being free. They talk about women, going over to white zaddy and all this other stuff. The grass is always greener on the other side, and all of that's all well and good, because I talk about the same things here. I don't believe that Black women should limit themselves to just Black men. I think that is folly. But I would also think it is folly if Black women think that the grass is greener on the other side and don't get their vetting skills up.
Yeah. Thank you, Mama. Well, my thing is, if we're going to talk about options and what you can get or what you can't get, it goes back to, again, how much you want to work to get what you want as women. What do you really want? Because let's say the Black man's the problem, and I hear this a lot with us as people. Okay, what other man that you're going to compete to get what you want, just to satisfy what you really truly desire? And when you ask these divestors, if you ask the question, they'll tell you, said, if I get me this Brad, my problems are solved. I'm telling you right now, Brad's having just as hard as everybody else out here. Do you get me? You're not getting the 10% or lower. And my time is because you must understand, the higher the economic total the man is, the more his options free up. And he has to make a decision if he's going to select you out of his own woman and an aged woman. We got to keep that in mind. But a lot of women feel, say, well, we never give white man a try. So he doesn't. No, you don't have to give him a try, because the misogyny laws were removed for almost, now this month makes 54 years. What's stopping the Caucasoid now to look at you as the top option besides women? Nothing. But still, at the end of the day, regardless, you say he's race loyal, he still would prefer somebody that's almost like him, or whiter, or yellow.
But that's all groups. That's all groups. Everybody pretty much dates within their own group primarily.
I agree.
What Black
but you see, the swears don't see that. The swears do not see that. Faith. They feel, say that if I open up to other men, everything is good. I don't have to do much. They're just going to come to me and that's it. No. That's not how shit works, sweetie. You know what I'm saying? You might have to do something just to attract this man, to make him go all the way, just to make you his number one option. You get me? And that's not the reality. Now, I'm not saying someone could get to that direction, but like I said before, you got to understand what the market is and where you stand and what you could do to just compete to get that set man. And, if you tell women that, honestly, Faith, you know what they're going to call you? They're going to call you everything from the child of God.
Oh, yeah, I already know. But you know what? I'm used to it. I'm used to it. So it doesn't bother me.
And here's my thing. As much time we I don't talk about Kevin Samuels on this channel. We talk about, but there's certain things he does sit in the point that people got to pay attention. And I'm not going into no details, but if women want to play this game, if they look for one mate to snag, secure marriage, whatever you want to call it, then you got to ask yourself what you want to do just to get that outcome. If you have a certain set goal and standards, you always got to say which man that meets just enough or better, possibly, and work with that. But other than that, if you just think you just want the perfection, you're delusional. Because no man or woman is perfect. And I want people to get a delusion of perfection. If you're a person that you're trying to see perfection, you're not perfection, don't expect the next person to be perfected. That's what I'm saying. I'm letting Young Eyes speak because she's up here. And
All right.
She got the demon. She's right. She's about to unleash the demon.
I see the demon up there. What's up, Neon Eyes? What's going on, sis?
Hi, Faith. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So what did you want to say on the topic?
I actually wanted to offer a little bit of pushback to Chaos Reign. And by the way, my avatar is not a demon, it's an owl. But the pushback that I basically
it is owl. It is owl. Okay, go ahead.
So the pushback that I wanted to offer, I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of student loan repayment programs? Have you ever heard of those?
I heard some programs that get people to slowly start repair or pay some off the debt.
Okay. The reason why I asked is because I heard you during your exchange with Faith about education and women that go to school and get degrees and things like that. I heard you highlighting the point about debt that's incurred while a woman is in school, and you were kind of using that as a problem for the solution that she offered, which was basically more women in today's society are not going to school, getting education, getting degrees and things of that nature. Well, my pushback for you is there are not only federally funded, but state funded programs that actually offer loan repayment programs to women that are in certain fields of study while they're still in school, or once they transition from, or like once they graduate college and transition fully into their career path, they have different programs within their field, depending on what company they work for, that will actually repay their loans for them. Like, for example, my parents were both military. My parents died when I was younger. So I had used so many different education benefits to pay for my school before I joined the military myself. However, like Faith, I applied for a student loan because I wanted to get a car. I just wanted that extra money to get a car. And once I joined the military, because of my sign-on bonus and the conditions of my contract, all of the debt that I incurred while I was in school, the military paid that back. So the economy is far more advanced than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. I don't think that student loan debt is as much of a problem or a concern right now as it was maybe 30 or 50 years ago. Or, well, bullshit. I can't even say 50 years ago, because 50 years ago, women weren't even allowed to go to college, right, Faith?
Exactly.
Right.
We had barely any rights. This was about maybe 50 or 60 years ago, Neon Eyes. But
Correct.
You're absolutely right. The women of this day and age, we have way more options than our great grandmothers that Kevin Samuels and Jason Black like to reference. We should be more like. They want us to be more like these women who were basically enslaved by the system. And I have a problem with that.
And much times I do like some works from Jason Black, but I don't mention because no one knows if this man even is a black man, who he is. I know who the other guy is because I see him, but Jason Black, I don't know who he is. So I don't refer to him because he's like a ghost, unfortunately. He said some interesting stuff, but no one doesn't know him, unfortunately. Sorry. Some people say they get some benefit, but if I never seen a person in person, I can't really reference him. Just like if anybody will reference me, but no one's ever seen what I look like, who I am. I don't want to tell people that be wise. Just be
I wanted to highlight something real quick. Bro Speak and highlight it for himself. He's here. What's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have a question because yeah, I was saying that it's not as big of a problem now than it was 40, 50 years ago. Okay, well, if it's not so much of a problem, why are people focusing on it? Why are they even doing programs to even try to either lower it or eliminate it entirely? Why is this big focus on
I
it?
mean, isn't that what you want? Would you want any of the women in your family to have to worry about college debt? We should
I'm
be
not.
happy. We should be
I'm
happy
not.
that we are in a position now that they can go to school and have these
That's
programs to help repay their debt. That's a good thing. Y'all want women to be independent. Y'all don't want women to rely on y'all to take care of them.
wait, wait,
We
wait, wait.
have resources and everything now. So isn't that a good thing? I mean, why is there a problem for every solution? That's what I need to understand.
I didn't, ma'am. I wasn't even saying there was a problem or not. What I was saying is, you're saying that it wasn't a big deal now as it was back then, but there's so much focus on it, then it must be still a problem. If they're
It's
making
not a
us,
problem. It's just that it's not a
but if
problem.
they,
It's just that the economy has shifted since 10 and 15 years ago. There are currently, see, I don't know what y'all's understanding is about this corporation called America, but there are resources out here that people qualify for that they don't even know about. And that's men
okay,
and women. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
okay,
for,
I'm
for
not
me,
going.
it's about being resourceful and about using what's available to you. So for me, it's very petty to sit here and even ask that question because these are benefits that all of us qualify for, not just because of a gender. I mean, they literally have grants and different resources for just being dyslexic or having a speech impediment or having PTSD. There's literally a grant for everything. These resources
Okay,
are available to us. So if we know that, then why make a big deal out of it and be petty? Well, if it's not such a
I'm
big deal, then why is there's a focus on it because our economy has shifted and evolved. It's called evolution. I mean, why would
okay.
that even be a discussion? You should be happy that women are
I
progressing
I
economically, right?
didn't. Who said that I'm getting angry? I have an issue with it. I was just saying if that was my whole thing. Okay, if it's not the big problem that you said that you're the one said that it wasn't a big problem now as it was back then. I'm saying that if it's not that big a problem, why is there a big focus on it from the media and even the
So
president?
I
I'm
don't think
just that's why I'm asking. I'm not saying is you're right or wrong or anything. I was just asking a question, and you're saying that I'm being petty about it. I don't
I,
care.
I do
I'm
I do think it's a bit petty because the thing about it is the air and the energy behind y'all's questions and y'all's talking points is
well,
very a problem
well,
for every solution. Like even when Chaos
okay.
Reign joined, it's like, yeah, but these men that you're doing all this education and stuff for, and you're getting all these qualifications and stuff, they still have more options because and it's like, who said that a woman is even getting an education for a man? She's doing it for herself, but that's beside the point. My point is being
Okay.
that we have more resources available to us, why not celebrate in that fact? Why sit here and say, well, if it's such a problem, then why is there's a focus on it because we're getting more funding as we speak. Next year, we're going to have more resources available to us, men and women. It just keeps
Okay.
going and going and going. So to me,
Okay.
it's like that's such a small fish to try to fry. Like to me, there's a bigger conversation at hand, and to me, that was just, and maybe that's me undermining your point, and I'm sorry if I'm doing that, but for me, it's just a greater issue than just being petty because I know, like in this space, there's this energy where it's like tit for tat, and it's like, come on, like
Nobody.
let's have more
I
educated
wasn't.
conversations and focus on things that matter. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, one, I wasn't trying to go tit for tat or anything. That's not what I was saying. I was just going by what you said. And then my counter is you had this stuff in the media focusing on it. If it wasn't such a big problem, why people were focusing on it? I'm not saying it to undermine women, whatever thing. That wasn't the point of my discussion. Woman, get your education. I don't have no problem with that. That's never been my issue when I
Well,
ask that
well,
question.
I can answer. I can answer that for you, bro. Speaking. Then I'm going to move over to the Black Audacity because she's been waiting patiently. But the reason why people are focusing on it, like in mainstream media, if you're talking about the politicians, well,
Hmm.
they got to have a political talking point that grabs the masses. And right now, student loan debt is a major talking point that can grasp the younger vote. So that's the reason why they put it out there. But as far as like a lot of these guys that put it out there, they're just putting it out there because they use it as a manipulation tactic. They're making it seem as if black women are in all this student loan debt, and that this alone is going to be the major reason why they're not going to be able to make it in life. And I'm just here to say that that's a lie, because there, as Neon Eyes pointed out, there's so many resources out here, and they even have income repayment programs as well. So it's not like you're paying a hell of a lot, to get down those student loans. But let me go ahead and introduce the Black Audacity to the channel. Thank you and welcome. This is your first time here. And what did you want to say on the topic?
No, it's not my first time here. I just changed my name, but my name
Wait a
was
minute. Who are you
Adia.
normally?
I used to be Adia
Oh,
Jumani.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I do remember you. All right. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. What did you want to say on the topic?
So I wanted to say in reference to women becoming more educated, it just seems like, you know, black men in general very much contradict themselves, and I don't know if they realize. You can just sit the stickers up there. Thank you. I don't know if they realize how much they contradict themselves, because in one breath they'll say, that education and income means nothing to them, and then in the next breath they'll be all on Clubhouse, which I've witnessed for the last month, all on Clubhouse saying, they don't feel like they should pay child support, or they don't feel like they should have to pay as much child support. They don't feel like they should have to support a woman's income once they break up. And it's just like, okay, but you guys have repeatedly been saying that you don't want a woman that's educated. You don't want a woman that has her own
You mean you're talking about
money.
alimony?
Can I finish?
That's what they call my support income.
Can I finish? So they were saying they're saying that they don't want to pay. They just had an argument today that went on for 6 hours on Clubhouse, saying that $250 was enough for child support per month, and they shouldn't have to pay more than that, regardless of how much, regardless of the income of the man, regardless of the income of the father. That the limit on child support should be $250. And it was just like, it was a ridiculous argument. And you claim that you don't care about a woman's income, you don't care about her education, and you even double down on it by stating that you would rather deal with a woman who is not educated and who doesn't have money. So if you and that woman break up, and she doesn't have any education, and she doesn't have any money, and she's never really had a career field, those are the women who are absolutely going to need you for child support, and absolutely need more support, because they don't have a means of supporting themselves, because you've told them that their money and their education didn't matter, and that you would rather them not have that. So I don't know how you then argue, why are you going after us for money? You should get your own money. You should be able to pay your own half, when you've told them that their money and their education didn't matter, and that you would rather that they not have an education and money. So that's just hypocrisy within itself. Secondly, this whole thing about that the gentleman was saying about, well, why are they advertising the student loan forgiveness? If you there's a content creator that is a lawyer, that a black lawyer, he's a male lawyer, that's on YouTube. I won't say his name because
The
I don't
lead
want to
attorney.
mention. No, not the lead attorney.
Okay.
The lead attorney is like a manosphere person. This other brother is a lot more unbiased. So
Oh, okay. Continue.
this guy during the summertime, he did a whole piece on the student loan forgiveness, and he went over the fact that the student loan forgiveness is really a way for the government to help out white people, because white children have a lot more student loan debts because they go for higher education at a much higher rate than the black race. He said so the
Yeah,
student loan
the
forgiveness
data that's right show
the
that.
student loan forgiveness is really a way to help white people so that they can get out of debt. It's not that I don't know why black men think
Yeah,
that
that don't make no sense. That did not make no sense.
I don't know why black men think that black women are the ones that have all this student loan debt as if other people don't take out student loans. Because the majority of people take out student loans. The medium income for people in America, for black people is 40,000 for a household, and for white families is 60,000 for a household. Everybody is taking out student loans. The majority of people. The majority of people don't have parents that went and paid for their college education. The majority of people take out student loans. So, being that black people are only 13% of the population and black women are only 7% of the population, you can't think that that 7%, which only a certain percentage of those are going to college, are the ones that are going to be the great beneficiaries of student loan debts. So you have to be almost, that's asinine to think that. So student loan debts are not to help out black people, they're to help out white people, like most things that the government passes. So that's what I wanted to start off with. And stop saying that you don't want a woman with education, you don't want a woman with a career and a job, and then complain if you have a child with her, and if you marry her, and then you go through a divorce, and she needs you to pay a whole bunch of money to help her because she has no means and education to help herself. So I'll
Thank
land at
you.
that for now.
Okay.
Thank you. Outstanding. That was the Black Audacity, guys. And also, I want to say shout out also to Neon Eyes, two very educated ladies on the stream, and they really put it down. Also, shout out to Bro Speak and Chaos Rain as well. So now I want to ask the panel this question because there are so many of these older black men that are leaders here on these social media platforms, and they're really hankering, to separate the younger women from the older women by telling them that the older women are just what do they say, that we're bitter because we're old and we're by ourselves, and we want the younger generation of women to be just like us. So what do you have to say about that? Or
Um,
Well, I'm what would be considered an older woman. I'm 40, but I'm married. I've been with my husband for 15 years.
that's good.
Um,
That's good. Excellent.
yeah. So I mean, for me, um, when I want to go back to when, because these men, when they speak on certain things, they act as if people that are women that are older, that are 35 and above, haven't been 20 at some point. So we've all been 20 if we live to be 40. So I know the majority of women, the majority of women at the in their 20s don't want a man that's 40 and older. The ones that do generally have
They need them.
they generally need them for money, or they have daddy issues, and they generally will grow out of that. The highest divorce rate for black women that do file divorce are women that are between the age of 20 and 30 because they got married young, and then they changed their mind. So I think that these older men, they can't compete sexually with younger men, and that's just to be honest. Once as you get older as a male, your package, your whole sex game,
Testosterone.
your
Testosterone.
whole it just,
Yeah.
I'm a nurse, so I know what it's called. Your libido, your sex drive, it changes. You cannot
Mhm.
compete with a 20 something year old man. No matter how much you want to, you can't. So I think that by telling these younger women that we have money, we have resources for you, they think that that's going to be their golden egg to try to get them away from younger men. But the younger women may go with them for the money, but they're going to sleep with younger men on the side. That it just is what it is. People want to be around people their own age group. The majority of people marry somebody within 5 years of their age. People
5 to 10.
With I'll give it 10, but I would say 5. But
Well, it's usually close around. It's nothing beyond that. If they, I
yeah,
had articles on this. I had articles, but go on. Go on.
yeah. So the majority of people don't want to be with somebody their parents' age.
Mhm.
So these younger men that are, I mean, sorry, these older men that are trying to convince younger women that they're the best option, they're just setting themselves up to be cheated on. And not only that, they're setting themselves up to be used. And then they're going to be bitter when the younger women leave them. And then they're going to say they don't want to pay child support. They don't want to pay spousal support, that they use them, that they should go and find, that they should get a job and that they should be able to support themselves, when you knew what it was when you got with her. Younger, somebody that's 20, 23 doesn't want somebody 40, 40, 45 and 50 the
No, not at
majority
all.
of the time. And we've
Especially
all,
50 years old.
yeah, the majority of the time. And we've all of us women have been 20 something, so we know by our own experience. Nobody wants to be in a club or out and about in the town with somebody their parents' age.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
if men that are 50 can't find some type of common ground and some type of commonality with a woman that's 40, between the age of 40 and 60, that's because a problem that they have internally.
Well, a lot of times they can't compete with those women because those women are out of their leagues. Because let's just be honest, most of the time when guys are looking for women that young, it's because of their own arrested development and their inability to attract the women of their own age group. They were the rejects of their age group, and that's the other thing that we don't really delve into. Why do you have some of these men running around 40 and 50 and they have not settled down yet? Because they are the rejects of their age group. Most guys that are of their age, they're settled down with somebody, whether they're married or shacking up, but they're with someone. So if these guys are not with anybody, you have to really give that the side eye,
That's a huge
because
red flag.
that's a
That's a
huge red
huge
flag.
red flag for somebody to be 40 plus, and they're still talking about, they're still sowing their wild oats, and they're not ready to settle down, and they're still living, and they're still out and about in town trying to find themselves. You should have found yourself by 40.
Exactly. And they'll sit up here and they will tell these young women, don't listen to the Black Audacity, don't listen to Faith. They're old hags.
The
You know,
the young
they're
women know
bitter.
better. Young men, especially this generation of women, is all about hot girl summer, get in the bag, and they a lot more. I'm gonna say, as far as manipulating men and trying to get money from men, they're a lot more advanced than the generations prior to them. So it's not gonna work with this generation of girls. I have a 22-year-old son, and he said, "Mama, this my generation of females, they all just about money." He said they could be as poor, they could be living on their friend air mattress, and they'll still tell you that they want you to buy what they want you to buy them and what they want you to do for them. So these older men are not going to get over on this younger
That's nothing
generation.
new.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, that's nothing new. I mean, a woman needs something. Can't just come with nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Gotta bring
what I'm saying
something.
is, yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. This older generation of men, they think that they can just play on the younger generation of women. They're not gonna go for it.
Well, my thing with anybody that's older, and let's say they got money, because that's a resource. You gotta play the cards that you dealt with. Now, if they can bag one of them things, okay. But how long you can maintain, that's a bigger question. And like always, when you get married at this stage of the game, in this century we're in, is very questionable because, like I said, people get married for not the right reasons. Some people don't even know what the hell, why they even got married. Now we won't have this conversation. So, like I said, people gotta really know what they're getting into before they take that bigger leap, because it's gonna cause a lot of headaches. You know.
Well, I wanted to get over to the divestors as well because I kind of picked on Jason Black and Kevin Samuels, but we got to talk about the divestors, Cynthia
Okay.
G and her ilk, and so on and so forth, because I got to, because in this channel there's balance. It's got to be
Yeah.
balanced because there's a lot of rhetoric going on around here, and I don't think that it is conducive at all to Black excellence, and it's not helping anyone. But now what exactly is the end game in all of these messages? Because for Jason Black and Kevin Samuels, their end game is that they just want to control young women. But now you got the divestors, and they're trying to pull Black women. Everybody's trying to control Black women, by the way. They're trying to pull Black women away from Black men. They want you to hate the very men that you came from, because it's real easy for us to say that we came from a Black mother. But what about the Black sperm that made all of us too? Cynthia G and the divestors that divested sell it. You forget about the Black sperm that made you. What about your Black daddy? Ain't your daddy Black? Your mama Black, your daddy Black.
Well, they will say this. My dad was never around, so I can't reference my daddy. Man, it's keeping it real.
But I'm just kind of wondering, and here's a question that I'm going to pose to the panel. Does a lot of these messages kind of make it seem as if Black people are trying to commit genocide on ourselves? And I'll start with Bro Speak.
I think they don't care really, because they've been so hurt by men, Black men, and they've been hurt by their daddies, boyfriends, husbands, bosses, all kinds of. They just see Black men as the enemy, and then any of the women that don't have that hatred for Black men, they see them as the enemy. So really, the goal is it's like you said, separate Black men from Black women, and they want to send them on this wild goose chase to get with these other races of men, when really a lot of those other races of men, you're not the first option, you're not the second option, sometimes you're not even the third option. They're looking for their own first, and then whoever is closest to white, and then you. This is not a knock on Black women, but it's this delusion that, okay, they really want you like that. Yeah, they want you like that, but they want you for sex or as a rebellion type thing. It's not really on some, for the most part, on some be with you forever and have families, because they have to understand they have families too. Just like they hard on the women getting with Black men, they hard on the guys getting with Black women. They don't want mixed babies either from their men. And the only men that can get away with that is the men that they're self-sufficient. They don't need their families. But if he's still dependent on that family, yeah, they're going to get rid of you. They're going to get rid of him, because they don't want mixed kids. And I think it's also, there's this jealousy and hatred of, in particularly, white women, because I hear it a lot, because it's like, well, we want to be like white women. They've been so entitled, so these white men are going to just go for us because these white women ain't really doing anything for them. And I'm like, okay, sis, but here's the problem. You have a big incel academic in the white community, and yet they're not marrying you. Yeah, they might pay for you, pay you as escorts and stuff like that, but they're not really marrying you at that big whop. So I think it's just, they just want to separate Black men and Black women. They have so much hatred for Black people that they just want to separate. That's it.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Bro Speak. Does anybody have anything that they want to say to what Bro Speak said, or address the question on the panel, Neon Eyes?
Yes. I actually think it's a combination, perhaps, of a few things, but I'm going to just judge pretty much from what I've seen on social media regarding YouTube. I think that a lot of Black people. Am I allowed to curse or?
Yeah, you can go ahead. This is a
Okay.
late night stream, so you can let it
Okay.
hang loose out.
Yeah, I don't want to disrespect your panel, but I think just based off what I've seen, I think that a lot of Black people on social media, on different parts of YouTube and these gender wars, I think they kind of see their Blackness as a shit stain. Um, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of what they do isn't for their own advancement, it's to fit into white society or to get the approval of white people. Therefore, that is going to, in their mind, they think that that's going to somehow enhance their chances of having success with the gender of the opposite sex of a different, race or whatever. And I think that compounded with a lot of childhood trauma, because there are a lot of, I listen to these panels and you have men and women talking about sexual childhood trauma, unaddressed issues that they haven't healed from regarding abuse from their, fathers or mothers. There's just so many different mental health, like layers of mental health disorders that people have in this space that haven't been addressed. And they'll tell you that they don't believe in therapy and stuff. And I think that is one of the main contributing factors to a lot of these conversations and why they happen the way they do. But that's just my take on that. I think I had another point that I wanted to make, but I forgot. I'm kind of nervous right now. But I
No,
think
you've done
it
quite
has-
well. You've done real good. I mean, you don't have to be nervous at all.
well, thank you. But I think it just has a lot to do with wanting the acceptance, approval, and validation from anything that's not Black. Whether it be Asian, Puerto Rican. If you can see me with this non-Black person in public or in a picture, in a photo, then that somehow enhances my being or enhances my existence. And it's just like, but you still don't like yourself. So,
And I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Neon Eyes, because you have the women of the divestment community. They like to talk about the Pookies and the Ray Rays. But now where I live out here, Phoenix, the population Black to white is like, I think 30% to 70% or something like that. I mean, it's a very small population of Black people. So I'm around nothing but non-Black people most of the time out here. And I'm not seeing the Beckys out here living that life like a lot of these Black women think they're living these lives. These Beckys are out here working. They white man got them out here working. Okay, they're not sitting at home resting on their laurels like they think they are. And these white women are out
I
here.
mean, they're not resting in their femininity.
They got a lot of domestic violence out here. The state of Arizona is very tough on domestic violence because of the high rates. So, and these are non-Black people perpetrating all this. But go ahead, Neon.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing out here in Texas. Because I mean, even when I'm having my groceries delivered, like it's I get a lot of my deliveries are handled by white women, and when I open my door to get my my items or whatever, they're looking run down, they're looking tired, got rings and bags around their face, and they sometimes like we'll bump into conversation with each other because I get frequently the same deliverers or whatever, and it's like, I'm so tired. I got to pick up my child from school. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to you, Miss So-and-so. And I'm like, it's okay. And I'll just give them an extra tip, like double their tip or whatever, because, I feel bad for them. But, I mean, it's not like what people think. It's not like, I think people have a very one-dimensional understanding of relationship and marriage dynamics on like just in general, because when you're in an online space, some people tend to get lost in cyberspace. And I just did a very disrespectful stream about the divestment community. And a lot of those people, their only understanding of relationships and struggles and marriage and stuff is what they see on YouTube. It's just like there's no balance. So it's completely opposite. And I live in an extremely wealthy neighborhood, high-end neighborhood. And I'm seeing a lot of things that do not align with what people are saying on YouTube. It's just like no sense of reality on YouTube,
Yeah, absolutely, I agree, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you guys don't start paying attention to the hypocrisy of some of these content creators, you'll get lost in their agenda, and they all have a hidden agenda. That's the reason why you have people like Jason Black hiding the figures from you, because he knows you're not going to go and look it up on your own. And you have people like Kevin Samuels doing the same thing. He likes to spew out a lot of figures, and a lot of the stuff I just think he pulls right out his ass. But even if the figures are in fact factual themselves, it doesn't mean that they have a good interpretation of it. They will come. It's the same way as the Bible. And I hate to utilize the Bible because I'm not spiritual myself. But when you go to these churches, the Bible is an interpretation of whatever your pastor interprets it as, and he reads it, and then he regurgitates what his interpretation of it is to his congregation. And a lot of times these ministers will have their own hidden agenda, and they will twist the words of that Bible, or they will even make up things that's not even in there because they know you didn't read it, so that they can get off whatever agenda it is that they're trying to get off. And these content creators online are no different. It's just that we traded in the church for basically the computer screen. But I'm going to go ahead and let somebody else take over. Chaos Rain, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
In regards to the divestors and the swirlers, I look at them as any other content creator. They're putting a message for those that have already self-esteem issues, and they're trying to find alternate ways of how to deal with their world, their reality, their own comfort space. And I guess using blame on the opposite sex will be better suit than self-reflection. And let's be honest, this makes a lot of money nowadays. You know, if you look at one of the top swirlers, she's now with a black man now. And I'm saying, look at all what she has done for the past decade.
Yeah, I heard about that.
She took black people. See, this is what the problem with a lot of black people, that we're not gonna learn, we're not gonna get it. A lot of people that create content, whether on social media, YouTube, etc., they created a platform, a script, or what I like to call it, and they follow the script very well for years on years. And with the same script, they created what I like to call courses, things, products to sell to you. You buy and you spend money on these products, right? And on the fine print, there's no refunds with the products they sell, which is bullshit, if you want to keep it real. So as they gather and collect their money throughout the years, they cash out, they go deal with the man that they really, or the man that they really want anyway, while they sit there, have you hold the bag and have you up here twiddling your fingers to why you couldn't get the non-black man you want. But she created a platform for years now, talking negative while taking your money. And I see the same content creators that you talk about now, Faith, doing the same thing. I give these content creators that's pushed in there another year or two. They're gonna be probably doing other things. They're gonna probably write books, sell products. And after it's all said and done, they're just gonna walk away from this, and then people don't know what happened. You get me? Because this is the best way to get money back. And I'm gonna tell you something personally, Faith. I saw the so-called Mr. Jackson out here again, pushing the same nonsense again, trying to re-upload, refuel himself. Let the smoke settle to come back in with the same bullshit. But a lot of women are not playing with him. You get me?
Oh, he's done.
He's done.
He's done for sure.
But you see, it's easy for women, and once time we don't hear this, that you could go and do some bullshit for a while, and you could possibly come back, and now woman's not gonna really say nothing about you because you cater to their interests. But imagine you create a narrative or a balanced message. If you go the other direction, Faith, and you decide to come back, they will not allow you back in because you're not telling what they want to fucking hear. You get me? A lot of women will sit there, accept the message that's not their own good at the end of the day. So, like I said, it's easy for a woman to do certain things and get away with it, and no one will say much more than a man.
Well,
So,
I'm going to say this one thing. I don't know if anybody paid attention to my community tab, but I don't do anything without an intention.
Mm-hmm.
But I put a video on my community tab as me sitting in the car. But I want you to pay close attention to the song that I chose, and it's I Understood the Assignment. You know, when we set up here and we integrated into white society, there was an assignment to us doing that. There was a rhyme and a reason. And the reason was that we were supposed to be displaying to other cultures and other groups Black excellence, because there was a misconception that we were animalistic. There was a misconception that we were lazy. And there was a misconception that we were dumb and unable to compete. So we were supposed to be integrating so that there can be close proximity, not just to whiteness, but close proximity to showing others Black excellence and what it is that we have to offer. But in being in that close proximity, we lost sight of the assignment, guys. We lost sight of what it was that we were supposed to be doing. And this is why I believe Dr. Martin Luther King, in his speech, he stated that he fears that he has integrated his people into a burning house. And that's exactly what it's doing right now. Divide and conquer is in full effect, because we have latched ourselves onto other groups' tribe and we forgot about our own. So in integrating with them, we latched onto their tribe, and now we have Black people sounding just as racist as our former oppressors. Does anybody want to speak to that?
You rephrase the question one more time. You're talking about our people are acting like these people to be the new oppressors. That's what you're saying, Faith?
Right. You know, I just want to know, like, how do you feel about the fact that, you know, we had our ancestors like Dr. Martin Luther King and Marcus Garvey and a host of others, you know, they pretty much fought for us to have the liberties that we have today. And we were supposed to take that baton and go much further than we are now. We're actually kind of stagnant right now. We have those liberties that our ancestors fought for, sure enough, but we haven't really done much with those liberties. And so now it just seems as if we're just trying to commit genocide on our own group.
My thing, come on, let bro answer this. I think Black people after the 60s, they, in their mind, men, and we could say women, they, in their back of their hearts and mind, that they have arrived, that now they can get more in proximity to whiteness without any form of backlash, certain punishment in a way. And because of that, now I think our people got more lazy and complacent than ever. Because let's be honest, the war has never ended yet. You still have a lot more fight till the real bigger goal has been achieved. Now, people say that they want equality. Okay, I hear that. But what will you want to do to get that? And let's be honest, Black people are different from other groups of people. So you don't want to be equal to no one. You're more superior and better than these groups of people. But because you've been conditioned for decades, and we could say centuries, you feel that your presence and your preservation is not a necessity for your survival in an environment that doesn't see you as any valuable until you give them some sense of value to them. And I tell Black people many times, you gotta get out of that thinking, you know?
Well, you know, Chaos, I find it personally embarrassing when I see Black women going online saying things like, yeah, you know, the Black D is good, but if you find yourself pregnant by the Black D, then don't have the babies that are male.
Yeah, I hear that.
I think it's embarrassing.
And not only embarrassing, it's very counterproductive because, okay, you want to be like China. Do you know what's happening in China right now when they have the one child policy and they only have one set of group of sex? They had to start.
It didn't work out well for them.
It didn't work. Not only did it work out well, actually, it somewhat did to build up the economy in China. But the backlash now is you got an influx of one sex that needs to carry on with life, meaning they need a mate to procreate and carry on with life. But where are you gonna find the women? Because you kill majority of the women. When you have more men than women, it is a problem. It's dangerous, in my opinion. That's what in any civilization, and there's gonna be something that's gonna outweigh. It always is going to be either one of two things. There's going to be even playing field between there's a ratio. There's men and women that's not too much or like this same even, or there might be a little bit more women and maybe not much, or there's men but not much. But when you have just men alone and just very little women, we all know the nature of men. When they're going to be fighting and scrapping just to get that one coochie, and they're going to take in the violent means and destroy things much worse when you have an influx of more men than women. So what China does, like they did back in a couple centuries ago, like Europe, they start selling their criminals across the globe to start colonize parts of the earth. So that's what they're doing right now. So, but the problem is when you have more men and you already have the infrastructure built, what are you gonna do with this resource? You can't kill it. So you got to send it somewhere else. Now, if women, like you said, taking that approach, say, we want the opposite. We want more women and men. So where are the women going to find the mates? Unless you're advocating for homosexuality. Because most women are not going to compete for no fucking man. That's my check, right? They say they don't want to compete, right?
Well, I know I'm not. I can't speak for every woman.
Yeah, but that's what, if you hear the comments, most of them say they're not going to do that. So what's the alternate solution? You're going to either do two things. You're going to hope to go, put yourself out there and hope a mate, non-black mate will take you and take you seriously than just a fuck. Or you're going to turn to the homosexual route. It's one or the other.
No, that's untrue. I think that's a subconscious thing that men on social media have been pushing because they actually want women to be homosexual. That's a fetish that men have been having for years. And they use that as a scapegoat and try to project that onto women. No. And as far as competition, no woman has to compete for a man. Men that are heterosexual and men that like women, they're going to gravitate toward each other naturally, and nature is going to take its course. There's no reason for women to be in this competitive mindset when it comes to men. There are a plethora of men. Men are going to be here forever. Men are going to be more than abundant forever. There's no need to even really compete for them because you don't have to. Men are very easy. So that's my backlash, my pushback on that.
All right, and we have a new.
Men are easy, yes. Depending what the man wants. You get me? But men are not complicated. But a lot of them they're in the condition they think is more complicated, but it's not. So, like I said, those are the options that right now, if they decide to go that route, Faith, which I find
I think that
it's counteractive.
Women have options that men are unaware of, and women are women. Men do not know what women want. Men don't know what we feel and how we process attraction to men. So I think that that's invalid. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, Faith.
Oh no, that's okay. I was trying to introduce Pearl Lawson to the stream, but she kind of jilted off there. So Pearl, if you're there, you can come back. But you guys were having a really good conversation.
Yes.
Oh, Pearl Lawson's back. All right. Hey, Pearl, what's going on?
Hi. I just kind of wanted to weigh back in on the college topic. So, I'm going to be starting college soon. So I just wanted to also state that once I do go to college and I do graduate, I don't want to be judged because of what college I do attend, because I feel like I don't know, just because like, you know, someone would like make an excuse and say because you didn't go to an elite college or a college in like a, you know, a really nice neighborhood, you know, it's not the same. Like they're going to point that finger at me.
Well, Pearl, one thing I want to say, since you're up here, is not which university you go to get the degree, because everything is the same, depending what degree you're taking, they're going to teach the same. The only difference with the level or the university that people talk about is the network. That's it. In regards to the education you get, it's going to be pretty much the same. A lot of people say you go to here, you're going to get a different quality education. No, it's not. It's the same teachers teaching the same shit. The only thing you concerned about are people that are able to get to those top universities or top 10 is the network. That's their focus. Well, like I said, depending on what you're trying to go into college, what you're trying to attain, is always the determinant factor. Because you gotta know what you're going in there for a reason. You get me?
Right, because it's already a fight going to college and getting the grants and everything that I need to even finish college. And then, you know, a lot of people.
And don't forget, and the type of degree you're getting, because that's always important. Because now most of these degrees nowadays, we look at how the system is going. Some of these are obsolete. I'm not sure why they still offer it in certain universities, but we're not going to go into that. But now, because we're moving into a more technical age, you always got to pick the degree. If you're going to get this, is there two things? Are you going to work for somebody, or are you going to go to possibly work for yourself or something bigger down the line?
Oh, no, I'm definitely going to work for myself.
Okay. So I'm not sure if it's and what degree is this again?
Well, that's just between me. I don't really want to make that public, but you know, my biggest concern is like once I do achieve it and I do go for what I want to go for, I just don't want to be judged because of what school that I go to. Because I feel like women who have received their bachelor's degree and everything, once they, you know, get into the dating field, or, you know, they're just like, you know, trying to network and get into like certain places to, you know, move up in life, they point that finger like, oh, you went to this college and you didn't receive the same education, or, you know, they're going to face
No, don't concern about self-judging, because if you get the degree you try and get, your whole premise is you got to market yourself to people and you have to be really sociable. That's your more concern than anything else, because people are not going to look at say, oh, you go to some and look at you different. No, they always want to know what can you do. That's the more important thing. And what you can
do. I think that Pearl is talking about elitists.
Yes.
I mean, well, you know, I said
if I didn't go to like an elite school or like an Ivy League college, I'm not going to be able to, you know, network with those types of people, or they'll look down.
No, you can absolutely. It doesn't matter if you go to that type of college or university or not. While you're in school, you should be also attending expos, conferences, workshops, and using those tools to network with industry professionals that are in your particular industry, and participating in mentorship programs. Because while you're in school, it's not just about school, it's about building your knowledge and networking with other industry elites and professionals and, you know, masters or whatever craft it is you're studying or whatever, to help build you up. That's what they're there for. So when you're in school, whatever, I don't know what you're going to school for, but whatever it is that you're going for, just make sure that you're attending special events, like I said, conferences, expos. You can never, like, when it comes to especially from the business side of especially school, you always want to be networking, always. And even though you're a student,
and that's what I can do. I'm really good at networking and, like, you know, boasting myself up and like presenting myself in that way. But I was just worried about like being judged if like I don't get accepted to like a, you know, one of those top schools, or facing that challenge. But like you said,
they judge based more on who you're connected to and your skill set, and really so many other things outside of like where you go to school. That's only one factor that they use to judge your I guess if you're qualified for a certain position or not, or whatever. I don't know, apprenticeship program or whatever. But it's really about who you know, really in any industry, and networking is so important. And I would also just say, make sure that you have an online presence, at the very least a website, a business card, something where people can stay in contact with you, because you want to build a mentorship network between you and you want to build your own contacts, basically.
Well, I don't want to work for anyone. My main goal is just to be like self-efficient, like totally independent, starting my own business, and what I do go to college for.
Yeah,
Or
so it would
and
be
then
it would be
that's where mentorship has come
chaos.
from.
Can I please finish? Can I please finish? I'm trying to offer advice here. So when it comes to entrepreneurship and owning your own business, it's important to network. That's a part of how you build a clientele. So you definitely, like I said, I think the best piece of advice I could offer right now is to definitely make sure you attend networking events like expos, conferences, and things like that, because that's definitely going to help usher you into your industry. That's going to help you get connected and get not only mentorship but build a clientele. If especially if you want to work for yourself, that's very important. So, and I'm telling you this as an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner, so that's going to be your strongest leg as an entrepreneur. So
Neon Eyes, how did you develop your communication skills? Because your communication skills are very on point. I just wanted to let you know, and you've given out some very good advice.
honestly, I don't even know. Like, I just kind of jump into things. I think for me, my parents put me into 4-H. They put me into Barbizon. I went to Barbizon twice. Um,
What's
they
Barbara?
put me in several different modeling schools and acting schools, and you have to do a lot of public performance and public speaking and stuff. And I just became really comfortable with it, especially after I joined the military. Working for the command sergeant major of the entire postal Fort Hood, I would go to these board meetings and have to like stand in front of a PowerPoint presentation and brief full board colonels, like command sergeant majors, first sergeants, I like top birds in the military, and it was so nerve wracking. So I think that kind of, because I wasn't always here where I'm at. I think once I joined the military and I had that, and I was a secretary, that helped me develop my communication skills and public speaking skills. Because even now I still struggle, but I mean, this is YouTube. I go to my channel and I am as ratchet as I want to be. But when it comes to conducting business and stuff, that helped me develop that part. Just being under pressure, basically for me, and that
And
kind of,
college would also help with that too, because you'd have to do a lot of presentations, take a
yeah.
speech class. I took speech. So, there are other things that you can do too, and internships. I was in an internship when I was in college. That was when I was pre-med. And I was, doing my internships under the tutelage of occupational therapists and physical therapists. And that was my major at the time. So
Wow,
definitely you want to do internships as well.
that's impressive. Yeah, that's amazing. But I would say, just place yourself in uncomfortable positions, of course, that are not unsafe. But if you're nervous about communicating, just practice it more. You know.
Understood. And it's like I'm not afraid of like working under someone at first, like to watch and see how they may have done something or how they, started their business off and then branch it off and maybe starting my own business. 'Cause like you said, it's going to take me watching, communicating, and networking. So, I mean, I guess that's a route that I could also take at first. But thank you for the advice.
You're welcome. That's also what a lot of industry leaders. That's what they recommend, because it helps you get your feet wet, so you're not just out there overwhelmed. Because whoever you're working under, they're going to mentor you and really help you. You're going to learn a lot from them, just seeing how they run their business and how they run their clientele, how they keep up their business in terms of laws and licensing. And also there's a lot that goes into being an entrepreneur. It's a lot. And you want to have as much, you want to take in as much information as you possibly can before you actually take that big leap. And I'm not saying you can't do it. If that's what you want to, you absolutely can do it, and you can go for that. But there's a lot also that you can get out of working under someone. Because I know I want to have my own. I plan on having my own pedicuring business, but I want to work under a podiatrist first.
Right.
That way, I can learn the medical side of it, and also get comfortable with working on clients under pressure that have different disorders and stuff. So, I mean, it's a good learning experience to help you develop your craft and how to deal with clients. And it's just a very layered thing being an entrepreneur, and you want to have as many tools as you can before you
Right. And
actually.
then it's like right now, social media, like I'm thinking of starting maybe like a really tiny business at first, like practicing selling like little smaller items just to kind of get that practice going as well. So I have ideas of what I want to do, like working under someone at first, and then practicing like selling my little products at first, and then branching off into starting my own business. But
And you'd be surprised that I'm gonna tell you something too. Like when you're an entrepreneur, there's so many opportunities out there for you. Like when you tell someone I'm an entrepreneur and you present them your business card, immediately they want to help you. Immediately they want to offer resources and stuff like that. So there's a lot of benefits that come from being an entrepreneur. So definitely go for it. But it's definitely fun to practice with like branding and packaging and everything like that and designing products. It's so fun. But there's a lot of benefits and rewards that come out of being an entrepreneur. So definitely go for it, girl.
All right, but I do want to move the conversation along, and
Okay.
and this is the last question before we do final thoughts, because I got to wrap it up. I got to be somewhere early in the morning, but I do want to ask to the younger women on the panel. I think Neon Eyes, you're kind of younger woman. Pearl Lawson, how old are you?
I'm in my 20s.
Oh, okay, early or mid?
Kind of in the middle.
Okay, so you about 24, 25-ish.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So this question would be more for you because you're younger. So now, have you ever experienced where an older guy has approached you and has tried to groom you in a way to kind of in a controlling way? Have you ever had that experience?
Yes, matter of fact, in high school, there was this security guard, and he was a photographer, and he went around telling girls, basically, you know, this is like modeling. We go to these places and we practice like modeling walks and stuff like that. And it was very innocent at first because it was like this older woman there, and we would just like walk in heels. It wasn't nothing sexual or anything. Like our clothes were on, and it was just, it was professional, from what I thought. And it started in like the 7th grade, and that was just like kind of the walking.
Seventh grade.
Yeah, the 7th grade. It was just like the walking and taking pictures, like, nothing like sexual or anything, but it was just, practicing modeling. So I was like, okay, that was fine. And the older woman, she was, very professional. So then as I got like older and I'm going to the same school, my voice is shaking because it's kind of scary. And as I got older, oh my God, like I'm about to cry because it was scary. He
Take your
just,
time. Take your time.
like, I don't know, like, it went from, going to the, little studio place that the older woman had, 'cause she was very professional, but it went to him and his wife, wanting to do photo shoots at like outside places and stuff. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So then, it went from the outside places to like his house. And then that's when I kind of saw like this book, and it was like pictures of like other girls, and they were like had less clothes on and stuff, and it was just not professional. And I felt like now as I got older, it's like I realized that he was like grooming, like using, I feel like that older woman that had that actual legit modeling agency for, the younger females, and like using her and that to like get what he wanted once those girls came of age.
So he used a legitimate business in order to have girls that he could prey on.
Yes.
Wow. I'm so sorry that happened to you. So how old were you when you finally realized that he was trying to groom you?
Man, like literally I kind of like went back maybe like 2 years ago and like thought process, and I was like, that really was like what that was. Like sometimes you don't even
Wow.
realize what it was until like the issue is like indebted, like it's just gone, and you're just like left like 3 years later, like, wow, that really happened.
Wow. That's really sad. Looks like Neon Eyes dropped down. But the Black Audacity has been up here for a while. She hasn't spoken. What do you think about that, the Black Audacity?
I'm sorry. What did I think about what? I'm sorry. I had to get off for a minute because I'm at work. That's the only
Oh,
reason I haven't
okay.
spoken. Otherwise, I
Oh,
would always speak
oh, I didn't know you were at
because
work.
I'm outspoken. So I would be steady speaking if I wasn't at work. I had to sometimes put the phone down.
Okay,
So I
no,
sort of
Pearl,
missed that part of the conversation.
yeah, Pearl was just sharing a situation where she was actually being groomed by an older man, and he was working for a legitimate modeling agency, and he was using that business so that he can get access to young girls, unsuspecting young girls, and
Were
it was just yeah.
were these young as in young adult women or young or were they underage girls?
What she
It
said it
started in
started.
7th grade. I was like 14, 15.
What I'm and this isn't to bash your parents, but where were your parents in this situation?
Well, I let my mom know that I was doing the modeling thing and it was legit at first. And then when, like I said, he was praying, I feel like he was praying on me from when I, like the 7th grade, and he waited until I got of age to basically show what his true intentions were.
Okay, because you said you had let your mom know.
Yeah, about the legit modeling.
Where was
Just
she going
because
with you? I'm somewhat of
my
an
older sister went with me and she thought it was legit too.
okay, because
So
I'm somewhat of an overprotective parent. So like when my son, I had him in modeling. He's 22 now, but I had him in modeling when he was 14, and I went every time he went, and I like would sit
no,
there the
like
whole.
they didn't give me any reason at first when I was that young to think it
Yeah,
was
they wouldn't give
anything
you
other
any
than that.
reason. I'm saying the
And my
parents.
sister as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm
But my
saying
mom, no, she was working. She was a truck driver, so she was like gone mostly, and it was just like me and my older sister.
yeah. I understand. I totally understand being a single mother, a single parent, and having to work and being and having your older sibling, your children that are older, to help out with the
But like
younger.
I said, when I was 14, 15, it was a legit modeling agency, and the older woman that was there, she was more who I kind of looked to. Like when she spoke, like I saw her more than him,
Mm-hmm.
and she was really legit with modeling and the walking and taking pictures and posing and
Mm-hmm.
being elegant, nothing sexual, and she was just she was like, I don't know, she was what I was mostly looking at. And then as I got older, as I like stated earlier, like when I came of age, that's when it went from trying to separate me from, her and what she was doing to me and my wife now are, we want to go to different locations outside, take pictures around like flowers and stuff
So
like
this was a
that.
married couple.
Yeah, so he introduced me to his wife and he said she was a model too. So then it went from going from this woman who was like actually like teaching us, like, really showing us how to model, like the legit side, to him showing what his true intentions were.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the reason why I just feel like with the increased advocacy by men on the internet trying to groom young women and tell them
And
that
he
they
was a
are the
security guard at the school, so that's even more.
right. So he like watched you from a very young age grow up and I'm pretty sure he had these thoughts of what he
Yeah,
planned
because
to
when I
do.
went to the house and then I saw like the book of like other girls who went to that school, and it's like I even tried reaching out to one of the girls. I don't want to say her name or anything, but
Hmm.
I tried reaching out to her, and she was like so not wanting to talk about it. Like she was just like,
Because she
I feel
probably
like
went through the
afraid.
exact same thing and she just wanted to put it in the past and leave it there.
Yeah.
But I feel horrible that that happened to you, and that is another reason why these older men who are increasingly trying to get younger women to believe that they're the better options, they are in my mind just predators. They're predators. They can't mentally and emotionally cope with a person that is their own age. If you as a young woman, you sound like you're still very young. If you meet a man that is way older than you and he can't and he is telling you that you are the better option for him because solely based on your age, then that's a huge red flag that
And the
there
thing
is a
about it, what
problem.
kind of kept me safe, because I've never dated an older man. Like I've never been attracted to an older man. So when
And
he
most
was
young
making
women
those
aren't.
passes
Most
at
young
me,
women aren't.
I wasn't. I just wasn't like, giving it back to him. And it's kind of like he was like really enforcing. Like I don't know, he was just like trying harder, I guess. And I was just, I don't know. It was weird. I'm sorry.
And
My
and
mouth
and,
is
and
shaking.
unfortunately that happens to a lot of women. Most women can attest that they have went through situations like that. I have went through situations where I remember being 14 and 15 because I had a big old butt that I remember grown men approaching me constantly. And when I was younger, sometimes I would be horrified, but sometimes if the older man, say he was in his early 20s and I thought he was cute, I would be like flattered by it. But now that I'm an adult woman, a fully grown woman, I know, looking back, how predatory the behavior was. But when you're young, you don't sometimes don't realize it. But luckily, you did realize that it was predatory behavior, and that's why you just. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I talk to her constantly on how to avoid and red flags to look for, and I talk to her constantly just about men, about predators, and try to give her the skills she needs to stay away from that. Not to say that it still can happen, but I think that us as mothers, we definitely have to talk to our children, both boys and girls, about predatory behavior, and constantly ask them about their day and what's going on, and try to pay attention to any changes in behaviors, and really try to stay on top of that. I'm all up in my kids' business constantly. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I want to go ahead and welcome the newest panelist. BMT is on the panel. What's going on, BMT?
Hey, can y'all hear me? Um,
Yes, we can hear you.
First off, I do apologize. That took a lot of courage from you, young lady. That's not me trying to make sound like you're a child, but that took a lot of courage because a lot of people, especially women and some young men, don't like coming out about that because they take it as if I could have done something different. So I, 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 I do apologize, and I understand you're not alone in this. I am also a victim, and I stand with you. You understand me? Um, so I stand with you in that. And don't ever let your voice be silenced. Don't let your voice be silenced. Um, and put fear in you. You know, yes, there are that a lot of men that they try to take advantage and use certain stuff like, hey, for dance schools, modeling, anything to make a young girl feel wanted or special. They'll
And
use that.
they try to do it to like the younger guys too. Like they try to like groom them to be just like them. Like there was this one guy around my age. He was a supervisor, and he's like literally the same age as me, and I see him hanging around nothing but like real older guys. And his like demeanor and like how he talked and how he treated women, like he literally went around saying what was that phrase he would say, experience is the best teacher, like saying that girls should like go around just giving themselves up to like learn experience.
It's a very vicious cycle that not enough people are calling it out, and I don't want you to silence your voice, but use it as an amplifier to speak to young girls that do go to agencies. You know what I'm saying? Talk to them and teach them. Like, hey, You never go in there by yourself. You never go to somebody's apartment by yourself. You know what I'm saying? These things happen. Um, and I've seen it where the photographer said, "Hey, y'all can all get undressed and change your clothes." Whoa, 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 wait, what? Whoa, you're telling them to do what? Yeah, they can take off their clothes. Don't worry, feel natural. And see
Wow.
those kind of things. I'm serious. They'll tell them to get undressed. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to have a changing area. They're supposed to be signing clauses. Like paperwork is supposed to get signed for these type of things. And these type of things happen to young adolescent minors where they get put into a predicament and they, like the young lady, they feel pressured where they want to say something, but they're scared. Or they're like, "Hey, don't you want to get to the next level? Well, get in this pose or bend over, or do that." Or you know what I'm saying, look cute, look innocent. And it scares them and they don't know better. And then they start, and sometimes they start mentally, it starts to mess with them. And so I agree with the mother who said, I'm overprotective. It happens to boys too, but it happens more so to a lot of girls, dance pageants, a lot of functions where these girls, a lot of young women, there's a lot of openings in the South. And so I am deeply saddened that this another one, she got harmed by this. And I'm pretty sure throughout her life, it hindered her growth mentally because, the trust in her and fellow men.
And that's the key word, stunting the growth. A lot of people don't understand that when these older men are preying on these younger women like that, even if they are considered to be lawfully adults, 18 and 19, you got zero experience out here. But someone that's in their 40s and 50s, they lived about 3 decades of lifetime that you lived already. And that's not going to be an even starting gate for a relationship because it's not going to be a level playing field. But it is 2:15, 2 hours and 15 minutes after the time here. I do want to start going into the final thoughts. So I do want to start it off with Chaos Rain, and then I'll end it with BMT. So Chaos Rain, did you have any final thoughts?
Nah.
All right. Bro Speak.
Yeah, as far as these older men trying to get with younger women, we know what it is. It's control. If it was an environment where that our culture where the men usually pick the men for the daughters, it would be okay for a younger girl to be with a adult younger girl to be with an older man. But we don't have that kind of culture. We got a bunch of perverts and pedos who want free reign on these young girls and young boys. Because we got predators on both genders looking to take advantage of people. And so, yeah, you definitely got to be careful. As far as like the college thing, the education part, my only thing with that is don't let these dudes tell you about the education part, because most men, to be honest, we may not want you to be like college educated, but we don't want you to be a dumbass either. Because it's nothing worse than having somebody who don't have no common sense. That's the worst. So don't let them. You may not have to have an education. I mean, a college education. Sorry, but you have to know something. Especially you got to survive in 2021, because look, you can't depend on nobody in 2021. These people will sooner dump you for any reason if they get the chance to, and use you at any chance and any opportunity. So just be careful out there, ladies and men, because yeah, there's a lot of these. and for these young men, I don't necessarily disagree with the whole thing of focusing on your purpose, but I will say be careful who you're listening to. Be wary of the men that you're listening to because, like Faith said, some of them have an agenda, and the agenda is to keep you away from these young women so they can come in and get them. And that's all I can say. Thank you, Faith, for having me on the panel.
All right. Well, thank you, Bro Speak. I appreciate you, and please do come back. All right. We have the Black Audacity, and she was ripping it up tonight. I promise you. Did you want to go ahead and give us your final thoughts, sis?
Yeah, I'll give a final thought. First of all, thanks for having me on the panel. It's always a pleasure. And then I want to touch on a couple of things. The education, ladies, get your education. And it's not because I'm an older, bitter woman. I'm telling you, I'm an educated woman, and it changed my life. It changed my life for the better. It is something that I absolutely besides my children and my husband, is one of my greatest accomplishments. Do things that make you happy. Do things that bring you joy. If a man loves you and he cares for you and he's the right person for you, then he will be okay with what comes along with that. So, ladies, yeah, get your education. Don't let somebody hinder you from that. Just make sure that you get an education in something that you enjoy and something that will be financially beneficial to you in the long run. Secondly, I want to say about the older men preying on the younger women. This is something that has been going on for centuries. It's not something that's new. So don't let anybody convince you um, that they believe that you're the better option solely on your age. If anybody says that you're the better option solely because you're young, that is a huge red flag, because eventually you will get older if you continue to live. Everybody's going to get older. Everybody ages. Every day that you wake up, you're getting older. So if you find a man that is solely interested in you because you're 23, when you get 33, he'll be looking for another 23-year-old. And then lastly, I want to say that as far as the divestment community goes, I do believe that Black women should leave their options open. But I do still believe in Black love. I'm in a relationship with a Black husband. I have a Black father, a Black son that I love dearly. So I still believe in Black love, but I do believe that Black women in general should be open, have their options open to date whomever they love, whoever they choose to, because we've been told for too long and believe the lie that nobody loves us because we're ugly, we're unattractive, we have attitudes, and that is not true. We are definitely some of the best creatures on the planet. I believe we are the best creatures on the planet. But nonetheless, thank you for having me on the panel, and I wish everybody a good night.
All right. Thank you so much. That was the Black Audacity, and she's dropping quite a bit of knowledge all since she's been up here. So I do appreciate you, sis, and do come again.
Thank
All
you.
right. Last but not least, we have the King, BMT, in the house. What's up?
Okay.
Give us your final thoughts.
So here's why I get to be the bad guy and tell y'all that I'm going to let y'all know that this will grow. That there are going to be more grooming processes further on down the line. There are going to be more young adolescents that are going to take the deal like Deja. There are going to be more younger people that are going to seek older people in a plea to survive. And this is going to grow due to that of the breaking of the community, the home, and society, where you're not going to see much of that type of hardworking spirit like women like Faith, where they're more so like, hey, if I can find that type of shelter, be it doom or dismay, I will take it. So they will take that older man. And a lot of men that come from some type of trauma bond, they will do whatever it takes to take the easy road, and they will offer the contract to a young inexperienced person. You see this at colleges with young people who have older people say, "Hey, I'll take care of your school. I'll take care of your finances, your books and stuff." Those are good breeding grounds. Jobs, workplaces, pretty much community areas. They know where to go. You're going to see more of this, and I'm hoping that there are more people that start passing word on, hey, like, don't take the deal. Don't take the deal. That's why you hear the talking points that you're hearing. You understand? But you're going to see it's going to pick up. You're already seeing older men groom younger men, and you're seeing older women are leading some young girls astray, or literally saying, you know what? Well, it happened to me, so why not her? And they will groom that person so that way they can get that trial by error. And they will keep on doing it over and over. So y'all be prepared. Faith, you gave an excellent message. But the grooming process is going to speed up. You're going to see more people take the deal. And so this is the society now we're going into. You know, there are going to be more of this happening, sexually, financial, as well as mentally, all for survival. So y'all get prepared.
So BMT, one short question before you leave. So you're saying, and good seeing you, brother. It's good talking to you. So you're saying because people are more desperate, men and women, that they're going to flock to more to what they call mentors because they need an outlet now because there's no really answers.
They're not going to be mentors. It's going to be a grooming process. They're going to go towards the groomers. The mentors, they're going to go towards groomers. In other words, a young man that sees Faith guided like that, Faith, not saying Faith would ever do that, but you're going to have women that are going to take young, naive men that think that I'm the man of the house. But really, she's grooming you to be stunted to follow under her direction. You're going to see a lot of young Dejas, right? That literally have been out there forging, fighting, and thinking that they know it all. But you can't outplay somebody in chess that's been out there longer than you. So they're going to say, yeah, baby, I got you. You know what I'm saying? You don't worry about these young boys. I'll take care of you, X, Y, and Z. So long as you follow what I say. So that girl, she's not going to truly understand. You're going to see the grooming process. That's why you're noticing, you're looking at more and more of these news articles, or when Faith talks about these things, you're going to see the process pick up, especially after the lockdowns and pandemics. This is the new norm.
Okay, I get you.
This is why people are less going to work, and they're trying to look for any and everybody who will just, hey, I'll take you in, but you're going to follow under my grooming.
Yeah, you're right about that, bro. You're right. Thank you for telling me that. Thank you for that. You're right.
No
I
problem,
see.
no problem.
Even now with the barriers now, because with the Me Too, now it says you have to go through a middleman before you see the big man.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right about that because they're getting smart now. Because now people think say you're just gonna get this game for free. Oh no, you're gonna go through process. They're gonna try you. They're gonna shit test you. So I agree with you definitely with that.
You're hoping. I'm hoping that there are people like Faith that say, "Hey, y'all young girls, I get it. He's gonna put you on, but at what cost?"
Yeah,
I get it that there's gonna be a brother like, "Hey," I'll say, "Hey, man, instead of you worrying about chasing that tail, well, she got to get experience." No, you need to fall back, bro. Like I'm telling y'all, you're going to see more of this happen. Shout out to you, Faith, for doing this. I definitely got some ideas from this. Thank you, and I will definitely give you the credit. Like I said, you definitely giving me some things to tackle. Thank you.
That's what we as content creators do. We're supposed to inspire each other And if anybody got anything from this broadcast, whether it be male or female or content creator, hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to touch one another, and we're all supposed to forward the message. So absolutely. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into my little solo mode, guys. But I do thank everybody for coming.
I need
Yeah, I
your
gotta,
rant. Let's go down to your rant. So bring me down. Bring me down.
oh yeah, I gotta bring it down. So let me just put myself up here. Yeah, so I'm gonna end this by saying that you got a lot of these people. We done already broke it down for you guys 6 ways till Sunday, that you can't just listen to anybody's message and take their word for it. Do your own research. Don't be afraid to crunch those numbers for yourselves. And it is okay for you to question your idols. I know you guys idolize these people, you hoist them up on pedestals, but it's okay for you to question your idols. Never let anyone put you in a position where you're worshiping them. And that's what I see a lot of these content creators doing on their platforms, because you can't even go up there and have a decent conversation with them. They're sitting up here as if they're gods and you are their subjects. They act as if they created you. So you go onto their panels, and the first sign of you having a question about what it is that they're saying, they want to start attacking. That's a red flag, people. See, I'm so afraid that a lot of you have gotten so conditioned to being abused by some of these people online spewing this rhetoric. And it is abuse when you cannot have a conversation with a person without them talking over you, putting you on mute, being insulting towards you, gaslighting. All of that is abuse. And I see these people abusing their own subscribers all the time. I've seen people call in to give accolades to these people, and they're so narcissistic and full of themselves that they still attack the very people that came to give them an online BJ, so to speak. Some of these people still get cracked on by their idols, and they keep coming back for the abuse. That is not, I repeat, people, that is not something that you should get used to. It is always good to have mutual respect. That's the reason why when I let people on my panel, I let everybody speak, because we're all grown here. And I don't believe I'm better than you, and I don't think that you're better than me. But I'm going to show you respect, and I expect the same in return. That's how this relationship goes. Because I'm an adult, I'm going to treat you like one, and I expect the same. Exactly. Karen Jackson says, yep, they're brainwashed. That's exactly right. And see, it's really, really funny to me how adults can allow themselves to be in that position. Last night, I was on another content creator's channel in the clouds watching, and I saw a grown woman come onto her panel, and she came on at first very strong and, hard in her convictions. And then towards the end, this grown woman broke down crying. And I saw that she was trying to humble herself before her gods on the panel. And 2 of them gave her their ass to kiss, so to speak, even though she was humbling herself. That's abuse. I want to see more of you not take that type of abuse. Karen Jackson said, I saw that. Yeah, it was sad. I really felt bad for the woman. If you can't be around people that you can put yourself in a vulnerable position where you're being humble, you don't need to be in that space. Those people do not respect you. That is not love. If I love you, I am going to treat you in a way where you don't feel as if any type of integrity or respect was taken from you. If you leave a space and you feel small, you feel as if a teeny tiny bit of your self-respect was taken from you, you were in an abusive situation. The Bro Speaks podcast says it's even worse because they mix some truths with some lies, which confuses the viewer. Exactly. And I see a lot of half truths being spoken on a lot of these platforms. And that's the reason why I'm here to say beware. Beware of who you're listening to. You know, if you would tell your children, because a lot of you all are adults and a lot of you have children, it's really funny how we can tell our children about stranger danger, and we can tell our children about having self-esteem and respect for themselves. But some of us as adults don't do the same for ourselves. And don't think that if you're a parent, your children don't recognize that in you. Because you can't teach what you yourself don't understand, or you don't display, and you don't have. Karen Jackson says the show was about being on the fence. I just sit back and listen. Yeah, I saw that. And here's the thing. That's the other thing. Thank you so much, Karen Jackson. You just reminded me of a point I wanted to make earlier before I close. There are a lot of women that talk about Black women being free. And I agree, Black women, you are free. Do you realize that with all of the new laws and legislations that have been passed over the years to put us in position where we have more choices than our great grandmothers ever had? We have more choices and more opportunities than they ever could dream of. So our freedom, we should be celebrating our freedom. Never, ever, ever let another person tell you what your freedom and sovereignty should look like. And I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. When a man tells you that your education doesn't matter, he's telling you what your freedom and your sovereignty should look like. When a man tells you that you hit the wall past the age of 27, he's telling you what your freedom and your sovereignty should look like. When a woman tries to shame you because you don't have a man and she does, she's telling you what your freedom and sovereignty should look like. And also, when a woman tells you that you do not have the freedom to love a Black man or your Black father or your Black son, that you should shun them because somehow they're all bad, she's telling you what your freedom and your sovereignty should look like. Freedom and sovereignty is just that. You have the freedom to make the choice yourself. And it should be something that you make and not be judged on. So long as you're not hurting anyone, so long as you're happy. That is all that matters. Not what all of these people who want to micromanage your life and tell you how to live it by judging you. That's essentially what they're doing. Look, ladies, if you don't want to have a Black male baby, that is your choice. You got that now. If you want to date outside your race and expand your options, that is your choice. If you want to be in a polyamorous or polygamous relationship, that is your choice. If you want to marry somebody 10 years older or 10 years younger, that's your choice. Shout out to the Black Audacity with the $5 super chat. She said, great content. I enjoyed the panel. Well, I'm not going to stay here and be long-winded, but the bottom line is, for all these women content creators who are so anti-Black male, and for all these male content creators who want to control young women, they leave that part out of the content. They leave the part out where you're free to make your own choices and you don't have to have their permission. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in, tuning in to the Faith Factor. Please make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button because that keeps me on top. And with that, I gotta say, peace. I'm out.